Welcome to my channel. This is Aurelia from Aureliaslight, and welcome to another episode of Manifesting the Miraculous. I'm so happy to have you here. In this episode, we are going to visit once again the work of Stuart Wilde. I have spoken about Stuart Wilde's work in a couple of my past episodes, so feel free to check those out if you have not already. But tonight we're going to be working on manifesting miracles and how each one of us has the ability to tap into this extraordinary energy that can create miracles in our lives. Now, Stuart Wilde was a great teacher. He was a visionary, he was a lecturer and an author, and he was considered an urban mystic and truly a modern visionary. He wrote a number of books on consciousness and awareness, and really the power of your mind and how you can direct it and bend reality to what you envision and your desire in your own lives. Before we start this episode, I would love to know where you are in the comments section. So make sure you like or subscribe and just let me know where you are around the world. And now, Creating Miracles by Stuart Wilde. Creating miracles in our lives is no more complicated than understanding the metaphysics of the universal law. And because that law is indestructible and therefore infinite, we know the power used by miracle makers in the past is still available today. Yet, in our modern society, we are brought up to believe only in those things we can logically understand. Neither are we taught that the universal law has limitless potential or that this power is at our disposal and can be used to work miracles in our own lives. Step 1. Understanding the universal law. To understand miracles, we have to look at two aspects of the universal law. First, there lies deep within all humankind an immense power. And second, the power is impartial and unemotional. Call it the universal mind, Christ consciousness, or what you will, but it is this power that allows human beings a recognition of the universal life force that we call God. The life force is eternal and universal, and because of its limitless capacity, it is part of all things. Moreover, it's a major part of each of us. Consequently, we all have within us an unlimited, untapped power. Creating miracles in our lives becomes a matter of identifying with the power, understanding its characteristics, and learning to use it effectively. This identification is achieved by knowing that the power is within us and acknowledging that fact by saying, I am eternal, immortal, universal, and infinite, and what I am is beautiful. And in this manner, we lock into the power source and are poised for the next step, which involves looking at its characteristics. This universal law is impartial and unemotional, and it has no way of knowing what you want, nor does it discriminate between your hopes and aspirations, likes and dislikes. It is pure energy. It accepts whatever thoughts, feelings, and actions you project and reflects them back to you unemotionally in the form of the events that you experience day after day. In much the same way that electricity illuminates both a brothel and the vicar's tea party, the universal law doesn't differentiate between different types of energy in your life. It will give you anything you believe in, no more and no less. Therefore, the key to understanding miracles is to look at the beliefs you express as thoughts and feelings. When you were born, your thoughts and feelings are limitless because your mind is a clean slate. What a small child projects to the universal law is a natural purity unbounded by the constraints of beliefs. Children often attempt the seemingly impossible, unaware that they have any physical limitations. They drive off in the family car or walk on a high ledge. It's only later, through education, that they learn the confines of human expectancy. But these confines or boundaries are illusion. They're formed by belief patterns, most of them born of ignorance and handed down from generation to generation. This pool of belief patterns, or the collective unconscious, as Carl Jung called it, gains validity as it moves through time, and eventually the concepts that later generations experience as physical reality become rigid and domineering. It's as if the billions of people who preceded you have determined what you're going to experience on the earth plane, and that's all there is to it. The rigidity does not allow for genius, for the understanding that we are now in an era of rapid unfoldment. Fundamental structures are being swept away in an avalanche of awareness, and we are no longer prepared just to read about great miracle makers. We want to have the same experience. For most people, this isn't possible because they are locked within the limitations of the body and the mind. Their upbringing is so dominant that it encases their entire evolution, and they experience little spiritual growth. I would love to invite you to take a minute and just do a mental check of where you are and what beliefs are you holding on to that are limiting you from expanding and moving in the direction and creating the life that you want. So you are welcome to comment in the chat, and we could help each other out where we can see where we are. Step 2, understanding life's mission. We are not our bodies or our emotions or even our minds or any of the structures and restrictions we experience around us. We are an infinite part of the God force, using the physical form to experience spiritual development through a special teaching called daily life. When you entered the earth plane, the energy that is the real you left its abode in the higher dimensions of pure light and entered by choice the body you are now in. You chose the circumstances of this life because it was the next step in your infinite evolution, and because this life would allow you to expand what you are spiritually so that you could become an even greater expression of that infinite life force or living spirit. Now you may say, that's nuts. Why would I choose these circumstances of my life? This family, this society, and this neighborhood. Why didn't I choose a more affluent environment, or a prettier body, or a more intellectual capacity? Well, the answer lies in a dimension beyond the physical plane. As you entered this dimension through birth, you had within your consciousness a heroic mission, a goal. The nature of that goal is firmly written in your deepest recesses of the inner you, and what you are today, no matter what you feel about yourself, is actually a part of that goal in various stages of completion. Your mind began recording events, thoughts, and feelings only at birth. It doesn't know of your heroic mission, nor does it understand the universal law that interacts with your limitless potential. Why would that be? Well, 2 reasons. First, if your mind, feelings, and emotions knew the nature of your heroic goal in life, there would be no challenge or quest, and your evolution would suffer. Second, most understanding of metaphysics is based on tribal or religious beliefs that do not totally reflect an accurate perception of the delicacy of energy and the way it ebbs and flows and affects daily life. No real understanding of the universal law has ever been incorporated into the various belief patterns of the world's collective unconscious. For example, let's say that your heroic goal in life is to learn to love yourself and to accept full cosmic responsibility for who you are. And let's say you have had a number of previous experiences on Earth in which you were weak and indulged yourself metaphysically by leaning on others rather than contributing to your own energy or support. If you knew this in advance, you'd begin to favor one course of action over another, and you'd intellectualize yourself into positions or feelings that you wanted to achieve, and your mind would dominate your every move. Evolution doesn't work that way. You can't overcome weakness by fighting it or thinking your way out of it. You overcome weakness by leaving it behind you. This means that you become aware of the inner tendencies that bring you down, that don't support a belief in self, and that don't endorse a love of self, and you say, I don't want to be that anymore. You then move yourself out of the slovenly ways of the collective unconscious into a discipline of power. From time to time, you may drift back, but once you decide on the side of strength, the power of the universal law will always be with you to varying degrees. It may be a battle at first because your mind doesn't understand these laws or the nature of your mission on Earth, nor does it understand the laws that govern your potential. It will have a tendency to advise you logically from its own experience, and logic is death to that part of you that is the miracle maker. Step 3. Understanding the nature of beliefs. The next step in creating your own miracles is to look at the nature of beliefs. By reviewing beliefs and feelings, you begin to understand how to use the universal law effectively. It's natural to yearn for the impossible, and in so doing, you establish strong beliefs about what can be done and what cannot. You can jump a certain height and no higher, or run a certain speed but no faster, accept a certain position and no better. Because most commercial aircraft fly at about 600 miles an hour, the shortest time in which you can get from New York to Paris is about 6 hours. Those are facts in the collective unconscious. But what if we told you about a man who could move his body about thousands of miles in just a few seconds? Your mind would scan its memory banks and draw blank, whereupon you might think, impossible. Then perhaps you might review all of the scientific data available and conclude that this feat is unachievable. All scientific knowledge and current thinking are products of the same collective unconscious. And just the fact that 1 billion people have no concept of a man moving 3,000 miles in a few seconds makes it seem impossible. But the billions of people are wrong. There is a dimension right here on the earth plane in which such a feat is possible, and there are a few people alive today who know of this dimension and use it. It's a matter of perception and belief. Your ability to work miracles is predicated entirely on how easily and quickly you can give the collective unconscious the slip. It's your attachment to the collective unconscious or world belief patterns that hold you back. This attachment, which you accepted at birth, is your main challenge in life, and your spiritual goal is to step above it. Eventually, you realize that in order to become a part of the higher consciousness, you have to leave where you are right now and step into the unknown. That's why all of the tales of the path of the initiate talk about loneliness, for as you move away from the old energy, there is a sense of loss. As you take that step, your perceptions expand gradually to accept a higher vibration of self, and you understand that what others believe is a part of their evolution, but it's not the sum total of all the facts. We experience life through the five senses, the windows of the soul, and we are taught what capacity those senses have. Yet each of them has a dimension that's many times deeper than is normally perceived, and those dimensions will open up for you as you move towards them. Let's look at feelings. Through feelings, you can enter into other worlds, and clairsentience, a heightened sense of feelings, is a capacity you can learn to develop quite quickly. It's not as acute as extrasensory sight, but it is deep, and through it, you access areas of perception that few people ever experience. Everything around you is energy. Your body, its various organs, your thoughts, the physical place you inhabit, and the events of your life all express an energy. A part of that energy is perceivable through the five senses, but most of it is beyond normal perception. By opening to the power of the universal law and controlling the mind through centering and discipline, you become aware of the subtlety of the energies around you. You'll find that you can use your feelings to guide you through your life. As you move into a situation, push your feeling into whatever lies ahead. How does it feel? What is the universal law saying to you? Which area flows and which does not? After a while, this exercise becomes so simple and very accurate. You may not be able to see all of the subtle energies around you, but you can learn to feel them. And soon, you'll find that the information from the universal law has a way of jumping at you unexpectedly. Events in your life gather energy as they come towards you, and you can feel that energy weeks and even years before they occur. Science will tell you that it's impossible to foresee the future, and that's true for those who believe it to be so. But as you move out of the world's group perception, feeling and even seeing the future will become second nature to you. To harness the universal law effectively, you should watch its manifestation, which is basically every event in your life. Then link each event to your underlying feelings and attitudes. Realize that when things go well, it's solely because you put that image into the universal law and it responded. Imagine the universal law as a shipping clerk in a mail order company. He gets your order, but has no idea who you are. If the order says size 8, he sends out a size 8. It's of no concern to him whether or not that size 8 fits you. He merely complies with your request. In daily life, your feelings and your thoughts and your attitudes are your order form. So before you decide to change your present conditions, you'll have to be very sure what you want from life. The universal law reacts spastically to uncertain messages. You have to write clearly, and you have to be ready to accept whatever you're looking for. Let's say you want to win a large sum of money or give up your job and spend the rest of your days lying in the sun. You dream about the cash and you sigh and say, wouldn't it be lovely? But is that actually what you want? You might very soon find yourself bored, and although your mind would like to lounge in the sun, the inner you might say, I should have stayed where I was. There was more potential there. Creating energy for yourself through the universal law isn't just a matter of wishing for things willy-nilly. You have to realize that the power is within you, and once you take the first step towards it, whatever you create will be for your highest good. It might not be exactly what you thought you wanted, but you'd better be ready for the consequences. Before embarking on a miracle action plan, you ought to spend time meditating on the conditions or material objects you want. The universal law is the shipping clerk waiting for your clear and concise order. The currency with which you are going to pay for it is belief. To create something with absolute certainty, you have to establish the feeling within you that has already happened, that the condition you desire is already a part of your life. This can be hard because of your mind, knowing nothing about the workings of the law, fights back. You affirm, I am rich, and your mind contradicts, no, you're not. The conflict that develops confuses the universal law, which is about to deliver your heart's desire. The clash of opposing energies has been the challenge of the would-be initiate since the beginning of time. It's the hunt for the grail, or the slaying of the dragon. It states that no one enters the kingdom of heaven within until they've tamed the dragon of negativity they've inherited from the collective unconscious. Figuratively, you'll have to leave the earth plane, even though you may still be very much a part of it, a part of physical reality. Dimensions aren't out there, someplace between you and the stars. They are inner worlds and inner journeys. These journeys have an inner reality and an outer manifestation in the physical. So anything you can conceive is actually a part of you right now. The fact that you don't have it on hand matters not. Whatever it is that you conceive is in a state of gradually becoming. If you affirm, I am rich, you have to start feeling rich, thinking rich, and hold a rich attitude. Walk around expensive stores, have coffee at the best hotel in town, and begin to act and feel as if you already have the vast fortune you know the universal law is about to deliver to you. In this way, you create a concrete reality of wealth within your inner journey, and it will become manifest in your outer journey, the physical world. If you can maintain that feeling and power and live as if your wish has already been granted by the universal law, your wish will be delivered, guaranteed. But you can't be half-hearted, or you will dissipate your personal power and nothing will happen. You have to take the path like a warrior. You're going to achieve your goal no matter what confronts you. No matter where you are right now, no matter what adversity you face, you will reach your objective. The universal law doesn't care whether you have your heart's desire or not. Therefore, you might as well make up your mind to collect. You can have anything you want, and when you create it, it becomes yours. Often, we don't feel like we deserve success or wealth or complete health or anything else we might yearn for. We've been taught in childhood that we're not worthy, or that somehow we owe something to society or the physical plane, or that we have some kind of special sin that we should atone for before we can enjoy what we want out of life. This isn't the case. The law doesn't discriminate. It receives your energy and delivers diamonds or plain rocks, depending on what you put in it. It's very important to look at the negative feelings you have about yourself. It's easy to say, oh, I never win anything, or oh, I'm too old, they'll never hire me, or I can never be with that person, I'm not pretty enough. That kind of thinking is indicative of the mind and its logical advice. Miracles aren't logical, so the last thing you need is logical advice from the mind. When such advice is given, acknowledge the mind, think it, and say, I don't accept any energy that is contrary to the unlimited power that lies within me. And then just press on. Infinite power is so magnanimous, so powerful, so much more than the mind, that it exists in a separate dimension. And that's why the mind has difficulty perceiving that it's even here. You'll get an intuitive feeling or a rush of excitement, but that's all. You can't really hear it, you can't touch it or taste it, but it comes round the mind like a breeze. And when it starts to work in your life, you will know it by the quality of the people and the events that surround you. The universal law is in balance and harmony by its very nature, and so as you set out on your creation, what you desire, you won't be able to infringe on others. Whatever you create will have to be for yourself. You can't will the universal law onto others saying, I want this to happen for my friend. This would be infringing because not knowing the nature of your friend's heroic life plan, you are not entitled to change it or in any way alter what he's going through at this time. He has to experience life for himself, as he also has the unlimited power within him, and a part of his growth pattern is discovering that fact. Within the universal law, there's no dual energy, good or bad, saints and sinners. There's just energy, one power that pervades all things, and everything is a part of this power. Differentiating between good and evil is just your perception, for within real energy, there is no judgment. There is high energy and not so high energy. There's negative and positive. And at the end of this life, you will have the opportunity to review what you have achieved, which will be a matter of how much you've succeeded in centering your life in a discipline of perceiving the living spirit and using it. But your review will not be emotional. You'll be looking at the quality or speed, if you like, of the energy you created. If you've harmed others, you've impeded your evolution by decelerating the life force within you. That is your karmic energy. And someday you'll have to understand that it wasn't your highest path. But you can't judge others because since the energy your mind perceives doesn't cooperate the nature of their heroic goal, you have no way of knowing what they're going through. And it isn't exactly what they needed karmically for their growth at this infinite point in their evolution. There really are no accidents or victims. Each person is responsible for his or her own evolution. Each pulls to him or herself the circumstances experienced in life. We put in an order, so to speak, and get back 3 cracked cups. That is a part of the learning pattern, trial and error. This lifetime is yours. You may be involved in relationships and love others, but basically what you make of your life and how you pass through it is your own evolution. We all learn to take responsibility for our own circumstances, and within the law, the universal law, we are not expected to take responsibility for the evolution of others. It might sound a bit harsh, but in the law, there is incredible clarity and justice. That is why adversity is so useful. It allows people to look for something beyond day-to-day reality, and this brings them in touch with their true inner selves. In desperation, they begin to pull on their unlimited power, and they realize that anything can be changed, that suffering is a product of their inner self, and by looking at their inner selves, they can transform them. It has been said that there are no incurable diseases, only incurable people. And this is true of all energy within the universal law. Trying to fix your circumstances just physically or mentally will not work in the long run, because deep-rooted inconsistencies will continue to surface in your life in various guises. To overcome something once and for all means going within yourself to discover the real causes of the disturbance. This process or discovery will allow you more energy in which you can use to create the things you want in life. Now we've concluded that portion of Miracles by Stuart Wilde, and I wanted to share just a few minutes of deep meditation and integrate what we've listened to and some beautiful affirmations that Stuart Wilde has that we can incorporate into this. But before that, I wanted to share, when I found this book was a very, very, very long time ago. I went through my spiritual awakening journey, as I've mentioned, between 2006 and 2008 was the beginning, and then it unfolded, and it was like an onion for me. Each part had to be peeled off, so I had to keep peeling off these layers of limited logical mind beliefs, conditions, and the things that were not aligning with my true vision and my true self. And again, it took years, and I'm still in process 16 years later. But I really love this work, and I really resonate deeply with it, because even though we are a collective, we are journeying, our soul is journeying and evolving, and that is the whole point. And every action that we do has a consequence. Every thought has a vibration, and we are meant at this particular time in humanity's transformation to know how powerful we are, to know the divine creators that we are, to know that we can shift and bend reality, to know that our words shape matter. That is this whole point of being here at this time. We are awakening to the divine beings that we are. And you, as a soul, are valued and loved and cherished. Now let's find a space where you can sit up or lay down and get into a relaxed space where you can receive these affirmations and just integrate this work of tonight's podcast. I am a powerful, positive individual, and all events in this day are for my highest good. What I am is beautiful, and I pull to me this day only beauty and refreshment. This day is a day of balance. I am completely aware of my body and all its needs. What I am is eternal, immortal, universal, and infinite. I see only beauty and strength every moment of my life. I am a powerful, positive individual, and all events in this day are for my highest good. What I am is beautiful, and I pull to me this day only beauty and refreshment. This day is a day of balance. I am completely aware of my body and all its needs. What I am is eternal, immortal, universal, and infinite. I see only beauty and strength every moment of my life. I am a powerful, positive individual, and all events in this day are for my highest good. What I am is beautiful, and I pull to me this day only beauty and refreshment. This day is a day of balance. I am completely aware of my body and all its needs. What I am is eternal, immortal, universal, and infinite. I see only beauty and strength every moment of my life. I am a powerful, positive individual, and all events in this day are for my highest good. What I am is beautiful, and I pull to me this day only beauty and refreshment. This day is a day of balance. I am completely aware of my body and all its needs. What I am is eternal, immortal, universal, and infinite. I see only beauty and strength every moment of my life. What I am is eternal, immortal, universal, and infinite. I see only beauty and strength every moment of my life. What I am is eternal,